Hi everybody, welcome to another art journal tutorial, and today our focus for this art journal page would be trying out collage paper. So basically how to make your own collage paper and play with some liquid acrylics. So here I'm sharing some of the collage papers that I have made using the stamps that I own. Now these collage paper comes very handy, especially when you are traveling and would like to add some quick dimension on your project. This paper that I actually use to make my DIY collage sheets are food wrapping paper. That's what it is called. I will link it below for you all. I had bought this from Amazon, so I'll link these for you all. I have tried a couple of projects using these collage papers, so these DIY collage papers, and it worked out really well for me. And it kind of gives me some quick pattern whenever I want to work on my project, and I don't have a lot of time, especially while working with ATCs or tags, and even journals like in today's case. So what I do is basically I start off with the sheet. So I think this is approximately 8 by 8 inch sized, roughly, because I don't remember. I think it's 8 or 9 inch sized paper. Anyways, the link that I'll provide will have all the details. And what I do is I get all my stamps that I would like to use. Now this can be floral stamps, as you saw earlier, that I have used florals, I have used grunge, I have used basic stamps as well. In this case I have decided to use craft angles mixed media stamps, and what I'm doing is I'm kind of adding it to random places here and there, so I'm not covering the entire page. So the idea is to add a couple of designs and not to cover the entire one area or the complete page with just one design. So in certain areas you will see one stamp coming through, in certain areas you will see another stamp coming through, so on and so forth. So here you will see that in all, normally in one page I like to use around 3 to 4 stamps, and kind of mix and match, so it creates this kind of patterns that I really like. And it kind of adds different look to your page, the clean page. In case of art journal, etc., you could have always directly stamped. However, this I feel is perfect when you are traveling, because you don't need to carry stamps with you. All you need is these kind of sheets that are ready to go. Also, if you are taking classes and you want to have some quick textures, again this makes sense. I really like to use them on ATCs, because with each different bits and scrap of piece I'll get a different texture altogether. Now here I was showing you my art journal page, and here I have decided to stick on the collage paper to one particular sheet. Now you can see this collage paper is quite thin, so it is not going to add a lot of bulk on your art journal, and I am applying the same on top of my journal using some decoupage glue. Now in this case, I purposefully added a lot of wrinkles while sticking my page, because I really like that whole wrinkled look that it gives. It adds all the more to the whole vintage vibe I was going for. And normally with mixed media, I always like to add wrinkles. Like, wrinkles are good. Especially, I know, like, for a artist who does decoupage, they would be horrified, but yeah, in case of decoupage you would normally go for a clean and simple. However, with mixed media, in my cases, I normally like to add things like crackles and things like wrinkles, etc., because they in general give a good old world vibe. So here I'm sticking both the collage paper, both the pieces. So basically I cut my collage paper in half, and you can see it easily covers my A5 journal, and I have kept the center part empty. Whenever you're using things like decoupage paper or such kind of collage paper on top of art journal, try and keep the center or the place where the binding happens between the two paper. Don't stick your paper there, because if you go on adding bulk there, your spine will become very thick, and then your art journal won't last long. So that is why just keep a gap of half an inch on both the sides, and don't cover that, because anyways later on when you add colors, etc., the seam will hardly be shown, so it's fine. I did that first mistake on my first page, so don't do that mistake. It makes the page quite stiff and it increases the binding. It basically adds a lot of wear and tear on your bind, so don't do that. So here you can see, once I was happy with how the decoupage glue is applied and everything was dry, I kind of removed the excess pages, and that I can use later on in another project. So nothing goes to waste. Now I am ready to prep my paper. Since this paper is of course glossy and shiny, it may take my mixed media material on top of it, it may not. So ideally, whenever you are adding anything on top of your journal, or even if you are using your journal directly, it is always a good idea to prime your journal with some gesso, and that is what I am doing over here. I am using a combination of white and clear gesso. In certain areas where I like the print to show through, I am using clear gesso, and in places where I feel that the stamping is too dark, I use white gesso, and kind of muting it a bit. Now later on I had an idea of how to create the journal page layout, so I plan to use some liquid acrylics on top of it, and I have removed certain characters from Tim Holtz dolls. Again, all the products that I'm talking about or using will be linked below. So here you can see that to spread my color easily, I have wet my paper, and now I'll start applying liquid acrylics. Now the advantage of liquid acrylics, as you can clearly see, is that it is very transparent, so it gives you this watercolor kind of a look if you apply it just one layer, and it will dry permanent. So with watercolors you have that issue, right, that they won't dry permanent. So here first my idea was to add a light wash of color, so add very light pink. However, later on I changed my mind and I have added dark pink color. Unfortunately, that part the camera did not record. I did not realize that my camera was off, but don't worry, I will be doing the violet page, so you'll be able to see I basically use the same concept. So what I'm doing is I added more concentrated version of paint in the center, so that center valley kind of a shape that I have created, and then I kind of took some water and I blended that towards the corners, so it still gives me that watercolor look. However, once it is dry, it is completely permanent, since it's liquid acrylics. Now here in the violet color you can see the amount of paint I am applying and how I am blending it in the edges, and you can also see how vibrant these colors are, because they are primarily meant to be used by mixed media artists and by art journals, just like how I am using. And once you kind of start diluting it a bit, you will see that it becomes extremely transparent, just like watercolors. So that was the whole idea behind this page, that play with colors and kind of create that contrasting look. And you can see wherever I have added that light colors, so basically at the extreme top and bottom, all the stamping that we have done through the collage paper is showing through. So that adds another texture. Plus, since while we were applying the collage paper, I made sure that we had this wrinkles, etc. So that also added a lot of effects. Probably you cannot see it in the camera view because it is top, but once I add all the images in the later part of the video, you'll be able to see the amount of texture it has added. Now here are the characters that I decided to use. So earlier I was trying out 2-3 characters. I had also removed the dog, so basically I had an idea to add the dog and her girl kind of image, but later on I decided that the pink for a girl and violet for a boy made more sense, and I kind of decided to go with that theme. Now just to ground my dolls on top of this page, what I have done is I have used some masking tape. So this is just a regular masking tape that I use for my watercoloring, and I'm using the same, and I'm kind of creating a pattern just for some added interest and something on which my dolls will stand, so they don't have to kind of float in the middle of a page. And then I'm just adding some black paper because I felt that the white did not give me enough contrast, so I thought the black on top of pink and violet color will give me enough contrast, and that is why I added black strips of black paper. This is just regular black cardstock that I have torn with hand, and I will make my doll stand on top of this thing that I created using the tape and the cardstock. Here I could have used a lot of things. I could have used things like lace. I could have used some stickers to ground my characters, but with each art journal page, I just want to try out something different and see how it looks in the holistic art journal page view. And that is why here I thought, let's try out using masking tape and cardstock, which I think most of the people would have. Tape is something which is very easily available even in your local stationery shop. So I just wanted to give this a try, and I really like how this particular page turned out, especially the colors and the collage paper and the printing that you can see through the colors. So I really it was one of my personal favorite page before I made new pages. So here, just to add some even more contrast and even more texture, what I did was I have used the stencil, and this is a gold texture paste, just to add some more shininess and just to add some more texture basically, however not adding bulk to my journal page. So for this, again, whatever products I have used, the stencil, the paste, etc., everything will be linked below for you all. And now I'm ready to stick my characters on top of the paper that we created, the paper and the tape thing. So now I'm sticking my characters on top of the page, and here you can see how beautiful it looks. The gold peeking through the pink and the purple, and kind of gave even more visual contrast, and it added some shininess, especially since we passed it through that stencil. It also added some added dimension and look to the project. Now here I'm just adding some more stenciled area here and there, just for some fun, at the corners, just to tie in that corners as well with the center part. So that is just what I'm doing, nothing fancy. And once everything is dry, I have decided on these stickers. These are from Tim Holtz. Again, they'll be linked below for you all. And these are the stickers that I decided to use for my page, and I'll stick that using some Fevicol, and I will call this page a done. It was very fun to make. Honestly, I never play with such vibrant and bold colors on my mixed media projects because I'm always scared that I'll ruin my project. However, I did not have that issue with my art journal, so I feel it's a good way to try out things and see how they visualize, and if it works out, you can probably use this on a larger scale in your mixed media project or decoupage project, etc. So I leave you with close-ups of all these this page that we created. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, do consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Till then, take care guys. Bye bye.